Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Glory Boys podcast. Before we go any further, can I get a... That was sick. Welcome.
That was sick.
I'm one of your hosts, Darren.
I'm Austin.
I'm Trevv.
And I'm Ray.
And we are here to help creatives build wealth in any sphere of their lives, whether they're just starting out or you've been a production company for a while. We have so many secrets and insights, and we have guests all the time on this podcast to help ensure and bring value to you.
And if you're just joining this channel for the first time, you probably think we're complete idiots, but we're not. We, for the most part, have figured some stuff out. Over the course of 5 years, built a video production company into a multi-six-figure production company.
Let's go.
And we're here to share with you parts in the journey and encouragement, and really want to inspire and add value to your creative journey, no matter what stage of the process you're in.
If you want to see more behind the scenes look at that business we've created, you can go to the channels tab on this YouTube channel and see the channel for Glory Visuals. Find it there, hit subscribe, follow along.
You can follow us on all of our socials at the Glory Boys Pod and at Glory Visuals to check out everything else that we're posting.
Yeah, and before we get any further, make sure you subscribe to this channel.
Yep.
Hit the bell to be notified every time we drop podcasts. These are dropping every first and third Monday of the month.
Yeah, that's like a whole lot.
So make sure that you don't miss out on that.
Let's go. Encouragement of the day.
Encouragement time.
This is my favorite thing ever. Guess who's doing it today? Austin.
Let's go.
Let's go. What you
Last
got?
week, we talked about consuming versus creating.
Ooh.
If you haven't seen that episode,
Go back
make
and
sure
watch
you
it.
jump back after this one. You
Yep.
don't have to watch it before you watch this one, but make sure that you go back and watch this one.
Yep.
And today, we're going to be talking all about schooling and education and if it's necessary or not. And I just want to encourage you that it doesn't matter what you have, what resources you have access to. It doesn't matter if you can afford to get into the best film school or the best school and what you're trying to get into. We're going to talk today about some people that have done incredible, extraordinary things without going to get formal education. And so I just want to encourage you that wherever you're at, whatever resources you have available to you, we live in a day and age where information is accessible at our fingertips.
Yep.
If you have a smartphone or access to a library computer, I think you can figure out some pretty incredible things. And so don't let your circumstances, don't let your finances, don't let what your life looks like right now determine your growth in what you want to do and what you want to pursue as a passion in your life. You can turn your passion into a reality and into something that you get to do every day. And we've learned this firsthand by doing it. And so don't get discouraged. Don't look at your current situation as a limitation, but use the resources that are available to you and keep growing.
Heck yeah.
Amen.
I love it. Ooh, I feel encouraged.
Let's go.
I think I'm gonna go crazy. I think I'm gonna start being filled with the Holy Ghost. I'm on one. This episode, I'm on one. I got my new vintage shirt.
Dude, that is
that I have
straight
no idea.
fire.
This is the Thrill of Victory.
The Thrill of Victory.
1992 President's Club. No idea what that is.
Let's go.
It's sick though.
Yeah,
No
they made
colors
some
and
fire
Well, it's-
merch for it.
Well, the
whatever it
fact
was.
is, when I saw it, I was like, that's an all over print. That's cool. It's probably like a stupid shirt. And then I pulled it out. I was like, yo, this is like kind of sick because the colors, like primary colors, like
Yeah.
just cool. And then I saw 1992 and I'm like, well, and it's old. So I'm like, all over print, single stitch, old, and it was $2.
Was that at the place that I told you about?
Yes.
All right.
No
So
way.
I've been getting some satisfaction from this because
Yeah.
I put Darren on this thrift store, which
My
if
new
you don't
favorite.
know Darren, he loves to thrift. We're actually going to make
Yeah.
like a little short film about it here soon, which I'm super excited about. But I saw this post on the Nextdoor app, which I never check because it's usually people just complaining about
Your
things.
kitty
It's
cat
like,
is in my
the
backyard.
snow plows at 3 a.m. woke me up, and it's
Why
like
is your
fast.
dog barking at this hour?
for real.
That's the
Hey,
boss.
it's not all bad
Does
though. 'Cause
anyone have have sugar?
Mine. Whoever runs it in my area, they'll say when there's somebody who's like, "Hey, we just got an intruder in our apartment building to be on the lookout for it." So it's not all the way.
Yeah, but you live downtown, so you like you need
the common thing.
Yeah, your life depends on somebody
Seriously.
looking out.
Right. I'm not even joking. Mine in Papillion. This is so like freaking privileged sounding, but like
The lights on my house numbers went off. Does anyone know how to fix them?
it's like literally like I can't find my cat. And do you have a stick of butter?
Bro, cats
I'm
come back.
selling Girl Scout. My daughter's selling Girl Scout cookies. Like it is seriously so lame. But yeah.
Anyways, so
I do like.
I saw this post, and I usually don't click into them because they're usually worthless and people just complaining and being drama. But this one, I saw that it gave me a little preview, and it was like my husband and I just opened a thrift store. I'm like, all right, I got to click on this one. So I click on it. It's like this super inconspicuous. I guess I haven't even been there to see,
so
but
sick.
I sent it to Darren because I'm like, you have to check this place out. It's brand new. It's kind of like slept on, I feel like, which is where I feel like you find the good finds because it's not overly looted by scalpers.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I told Darren about it. Well, he went there and you were like, you couldn't even find the door because it's in the basement of this strip mall, has a little tiny door on one side.
Yeah.
too
It's
much.
literally. Yeah.
Said too much.
Yeah. You said too much. Don't tell anyone.
Sorry.
Can you
Okay.
take us there,
On an
Darren?
unnamed street corner. But anyways,
We're going Monday.
I
Sick.
showed Darren it and he's been going like
Oh, I love
every
it.
week.
No, so I've only gone twice actually, but I spent like a full,
Every week.
I think 2 hours both times I was there, or maybe an hour and a
Wow.
half, because I looked through like every item. So you walk in and it's just like full of junk, but like not like gross junk. It's like it's cool. Like
Yeah.
you can find like they have like anything from like guitar pedals and guitars to VCRs to like games and books, and then
Sick.
they have like a ton of like really random like antique like knickknack stuff that I don't care about. And then their clothing section is actually pretty big, and the men's like shirts are so jam packed that you have to like I literally get an arm workout because I have to spread them apart and like
just to hold it
to like
to
look
see
and
what
see
it
what
is.
shirt
That's
is.
really good.
So it's packed and it's
Dang.
awesome. So then I keep finding stuff. Then my left arm gets tired from holding it, and I'm like trying to open, but like I'm so dedicated because every 7 or
Right.
8 shirts,
You
I'm like,
might find
oh my
something
gosh,
incredible.
oh my gosh. So the first haul that I was there, I came back here. I got like 9 shirts for $6 because
Insane,
every day they do a
dude.
tag sale, and it's like
Wow.
they do like 50% off or whatever. And then she's like, yeah, this Saturday everything's 50% off in the whole store. And I'm like, holy crap. So
I'll
anyway,
see you Saturday.
sick deals. And then I went back the second time and I spent $25, but this time I got 2 hoodies, a crew neck, 5 t-shirts, and a pair of
Jeez.
OG 574 New Balances.
Okay.
And they're like super
Those
old.
are fire. Shout
like,
out New Balance.
Yeah, maybe they're not 574s, 754s. They're like OG like
Look it up,
track
Austin.
shoes. Like so they're just really weird. They're like cream colored with like a red N, and they're just super cool.
These
I need to throw them in the wash. No, those are newer ones. There's too many numbers for New Balances, and I'm not a big enough fan to like know all of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're really cool. And I'm like, hey, there wasn't a sticker on these. How much are they? And she's like, $5. And I'm like, lit. So anyway, shout out to that place. I'm not going to tell you
to that
because
place.
then you'll steal my
Fire
swag.
place.
And then I just got you that sick 1994.
Oh, I'm gonna rep it. I'm gonna rep it one of these episodes. Yeah, it's a super sick vintage Nebraska
Yeah, and it's like
football.
cracked a little bit, so but
Yeah.
it's still got the full graphic and it's
Single stitch. If
Oh,
you know
it's-
anything about that.
oh man, those when I find those, dude, just
I don't either.
something that happens in
But
a
here's-
one's man's body.
in his,
in a one's
in his
man.
nucleus.
Yeah, my
In his
nucleus.
nucleus.
Yeah, it's really
And
sick.
beneath the man.
Anyway, so good job, Austin.
Fine.
Thanks for showing me the
Nucleus.
secret basement.
The
I'm gonna call it the
secret
secret basement.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
that.
and we're gonna film something there soon, which
Oh.
is sick. I'm
yeah.
really excited.
Well, we haven't asked them, but I'm
Wow.
pretty sure they won't care.
Yeah, I mean, you talk to them, right? They're chill.
They're super chill.
Bro,
I'm
you
sure
just
they
like your
wouldn't
name's
hate
on their
some
book.
free promotion.
I'm on the book, dude.
Yeah,
I'm good.
He's on the book.
Oh, you
we're fine.
basically own the place at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
I gave him my card so that we can shoot for him sometime.
But it's cool. It's like, it's a thrift store. It's got a lot of
Yeah.
texture and a lot
That's
of
dope.
color and a lot of depth. It's like the whole basement of this place. And
Yeah.
so,
You said too
yeah,
much
we
again.
actually, I ordered a mist filter for for one of the lenses last night that should be
Oh,
here today.
sick to
So I'm
use
really
for that,
excited.
eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the Pro Mist or equivalent
yep.
where they just cause like blooming in the highlights. And so I
Mm.
wanted to create a cool video basically where we have Darren just talk about his love for thrifting and where it came from and what he gets out of it and whatnot, and then go there and just film a bunch of really sick shots of him thrifting.
So if you don't want to shop at thrift stores, we're going to discuss if you need to go to college or not, and why that is. I think a lot of people have a unique perspective on this. When I started getting into creative, I actually dropped. Okay, back up. When I was a young boy, when I was a young warthog.
When I was a young warthog.
Nice. When I was in high school, I dropped out in my junior year. I actually went to my counselor and I was like, "Hey,
wait, you didn't finish high school?"
I didn't. Well, I did. I'll tell you the story.
Yeah, so dude, let him get there, geez.
Yeah, dude, let me get there.
Jumping the gun here, dude.
This whole episode is about me. Okay.
Oh, okay.
This is about me now.
It's my episode.
All right, welcome to the Darren Boy podcast.
Here's my host, me. Anyway, in high school, I was just so bored. I wasn't really that bad if I tried. I wasn't but I went out for football, hated it, left. I tried to do all the things. I tried to be into all the stuff. I took all the creative extra curricular or extra credit stuff. And I loved it, like pottery and all the extra stuff. And anything really creative. And then junior year came around and I was like, okay, I have 3 study halls. I'm skipping most of it anyway. I went to my counselor. I'm like, hey, my teachers are lame. They don't get me. I don't get them. I just don't fit in with this whole thing. And I'm in a band and I'm going to go on tour. And they're like, yeah, you actually have some valid points here. And
you should quit.
My mom was, no, seriously. My mom was like, what? We're sitting here talking to the counselor, talking about if I should leave school or not. And he's like, yeah, it works. That makes sense. And I was like, all right, dope, deuces.
Dude, you saw potential in
your mom's like, wait.
So me and my best friend at the time, we actually left school together and our junior year of high school. And we went on tour that next week and just ate ramen noodles every day and didn't shower and just loved life. So
cup of noodles.
Being 16 years old on the road, going to 30 states and just really sick. And I just fell in love with meeting new people every day and just music is awesome. I love music. And so then fast forward to, so then we kind of did an accelerator program to get our GED, or it's called an alternative high school diploma. I don't really care what it's called, but we got that really, really quick and did some online stuff. And then as far as college goes, fast forward later, I went to this community college and I was like, cool, okay, I'm going to try to grow up and go to college. I thought, that's how you live your life. You have to go to college to get an education and then prove yourself to the world so that they would hire you. And at this community college, Western Iowa Tech in Sioux City, Iowa, there was not a lot of creative majors.
Yeah.
So there was not a lot of creative majors to go to in there. And so there was this photography program that just had started, and a journalist from the local newspaper was the teacher. So he was an okay photographer, but it wasn't that creative, wasn't that fun. Well, then they started an audio engineering course, and I was like, ooh, they have a studio now, and they were putting money. The school was actually investing into this, and I was like, okay, cool, I'll learn about audio. So I literally kept bouncing around all these things, but nothing was that exciting. And then I ended up just being okay, I've spent not a ton because I had grants and I was poor, so it worked out really well. But I got a laptop. I ended up getting a camera during that time, and I just was I could just go watch YouTube and do this on my own.
Yep.
And so that's pretty much what I did. I have a bunch of floating around credits, and I just never really finished any major. And I just said, screw this. I'm not wasting time anymore, and I'm just gonna go chase after my dreams.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Here you are.
Look at me now.
Yeah.
Chasing them dreams.
Yeah, Mr. Whatever counselor name was.
Yeah.
For believing in me.
Yeah, shout out to him for just being
Wait,
sounds good.
Yeah, we'll see you, dude. I mean, you have
so odd.
You have a good point. Yeah, you should probably drop out.
You got a great point.
I don't really say this often, but
high school counselor ever.
Get the out of my. No, he was super chill. It was great.
That's dope.
Hey.
Shout out to him.
One less lunch we gotta feed.
I'm trying
somebody.
to remember which counselor. But anyway.
Your mom just sitting there like freaking out, like,
yeah, mom's
what?
like, what's happening?
What did you
right
just say?
Yeah, but she was super chill. She was like,
Yeah, your
dude.
mom's dope too. So
She was.
Dude, if I had gone to my parents and told them I wanted to drop out of high school,
Yeah, they would have.
my mom probably would faint. Like, just actually pass out right there on the spot. No, my parents were very big into schooling, and which I appreciate. They always, any extracurricular I wanted to do, I was in band and show choir and jazz band and all of it. Like they supported me in whatever I wanted to do, whatever I wanted to grow in. But they definitely, there was a mindset of going to college was the only option.
Right.
And I remember in careers class, and what's funny is in careers class, you're in like, I was in 7th grade, I think, and we're like writing up a plan for like what profession we want to go into and building our resume, and no mention whatsoever of like how you pay off student loan debt or what the actual implications of having a credit card are, or how to get a car loan, or any of like the things I've had to figure out over the past 8 years the hard way.
Yep.
And that I think is one of the fatal flaws of education.
Yeah,
is just that I mean, I don't know of many people that learned any of that. How to balance a checkbook, which
Unless
you don't really have to know how to do anymore, I guess, with online banking. But like
having a successful family or like parents.
How to set yourself up for success in the future.
Just
it's like
societal wins.
All they show you is like, this is the medium income for somebody who goes to college, and way down here is the median income for people who don't go to college.
And you know what I did in those classes? Oh, I'm gonna live down there forever. I was never like, oh, there's hope for me to learn
motivated.
to use my brain to like, it was just like, I was kind of, I looked at that low totem pole and I was like, dang, that's like where I'm at. But whatever, that's just what I was born into.
And I was like, oh, well, college is the only option if I want to live a decent life. Yeah. And it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I was kind of on the same route of like, college was just kind of the next step. I wasn't a great student, but I kind of sat right in that top middle range where it was like I was pretty good at school. And I think I just like, my personality was just like, it stressed me out more to not get my crap done and to not go through the steps. Sure. And so I just did. And so I graduated high school, and then I just went to college because that's what you do. And then, so I have a marketing degree, which like to a point can be useful in what we do, but not. Yeah.
This is the only reason we hired you. So let's see that bad boy. Right. We got to hang it up on the wall out there.
I don't even know where it is. So
it's hanging up on the wall out there.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, but that's kind of my background too, is like I didn't go to school for this specifically, for video. And I think our culture is changing a little bit. Yeah. Just as far as the outlook on what value a college diploma holds and all that.
Yeah.
Before we go any further, you went to college.
I went to college.
Did you talk about that?
I did not graduate.
Okay.
I got myself in a whole bunch of debt.
Yeah.
That I still have.
Yeah.
Nice.
For nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With nothing to show for it.
Nothing.
You graduated, didn't you?
Yeah.
You have at least have a degree.
You're next.
Yeah.
I'm going to do each number.
Okay.
So do you want to say how much debt
so
you're in?
So we'll just go
or
down the line.
College community.
I'm Austin, and I went to college. I incurred just over $30,000 in debt that I still have to pay off, and I have no diploma to show for it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hi, my name is Darren.
Oh, and the worst part, the worst part is I actually had a full ride. I had a full academic scholarship my freshman year that I lost because my GPA was 0.005 below the threshold.
That's crazy.
So my first year I lost full tuition scholarship. It was like $8,000 a year.
Colleges are D-bags.
Then the next year I'm like, well, why even try? Because I already screwed myself. And I switched my major from biology to finance, and I was just like, all right, I don't know what I want to do. So I just kept doing that. And then after a year of that, and I stopped going to my finance classes, I'm like, this is really stupid. Now I'm just going to drop out.
But you met your wife through
But I met my wife there, and you know, it was a fun experience.
Oh man.
Now, Darren, your turn.
Hi, my name's Darren, and I went to community college in Sioux City, Iowa, a really prestigious place called Western Iowa Tech. And I
Hey, at least you didn't get yourself in that much debt.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
With all the Pell Grants and things, I definitely only still have $1,700 left. Or no, $1,400 left.
Wow.
Yeah.
My name is Trevv, and I went to college first in Concordia, Nebraska.
Nice.
I'm sorry. I went to college first in Seward, Nebraska at Concordia University. Then I went to college in Phoenix, Arizona at Grand Canyon University.
Wow.
And then I went to college in Lincoln, Nebraska at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. That's where I graduated from. And I had probably $35,000 to $40,000 worth of student debt. That is a much lower number now, praise God, but not gone yet.
That's not as much for 3 colleges. I was thinking like $100,000 or something. But
no,
well, you only went to 4 years total, right?
Yeah, still 4 years. Yeah, still 4 years total.
Yeah.
So
I got a degree at each one of them.
No, sorry, that was super misleading. My bad.
No.
Or like you got
that was another
different...
one of those things. Like in my head, I know the details of that, so I just didn't think about saying it. But it was freshman year at Concordia, then it was sophomore at GCU, then the rest at UNL.
Got it.
Yeah,
sick.
So still 4 years, got a marketing degree and a bunch of debt.
Nice. Yep. I think for me, my viewpoint on college is way different than all 3 of you. Like being a first time, like my parents came from Mexico, so they came to the United States, and the only thing that was taught during their age was high school. You had to finish high school. Like when my sister's about to be 33, 34, I believe. And so for her, the biggest thing for her was to graduate high school because it was never seen before.
Yeah.
Like first time immigrant family coming and going to high school. There was a lot of dropout. Nobody ever finished.
Right.
Somebody ended up pregnant or this or that.
Yeah.
And so even my sister finishing high school was really big for her. And so I always saw that as like, oh, well, I mean, if she can do high school, then I can do it too. Like it's a joke, you know? And so like, in high school, she went to college while I was in high school, and she didn't graduate. She had like a semester left of being a teacher, but she didn't want to be a teacher anymore because she had my niece at the time, and she was like, I'm just going to go work and go find a job and just try to provide for her. And so in high school, when I was in 9th grade, a freshman in high school, I went and became a part of this program called Upward Bound. And they taught you how to go to college. And so from my freshman year of high school, I went to UNL. And every summer I would stay at UNL. And I got to like experience what it was like being a college student. And then we would go to summer school classes at like some Lincoln South school.
Sure.
And so I was like, wow, there's more to Norfolk than just what I'm seeing now. Like I can experience out and get out and be my own self.
Yeah.
And so like for me, like not coming from a lot of money, not having parents that went to college, like I think the furthest time my mom went to school was like middle school and then she dropped out. My dad was like finished high school, was going to go into college, and then they got pregnant. So he couldn't do it anymore. And then my sister like went to college, dropped out. And so it was like, oh, wow, like I don't want to do any of that stuff, you know? And and I got to experience like what it was traveling, because even before that, like my parents wouldn't travel as much. Like we would go to Mexico like all the time, but it wasn't really a trip to me. It was more like, oh, we're going back home to you guys' home to visit and blah, 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 and family and whatnot. And so like I was never exposed to more than what I could see, you know?
Yeah.
And so when I had the opportunity to go to college, my freshman year, I went to UNL and I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to get something and make something for myself and do something for my life. And then I went and messed it up and like got in the wrong crowd. And I was like, I just can't go back this next semester or this next year because it's just not for me. And so I moved back home and I started going to community college there because my parents were like, well, we can you either have 2 options. You either go work at a factory or you go back to college. And I was like, well, I don't want to do that one. So I'm going to go to the community college.
Yeah.
And I went there and I was like, wow, this place is a joke. Like the first semester I was there, like I was literally flunking out of every single class because I was like, this is stupid. Like this just feels like a setback. Like I just feel like I'm seeing my old high school friends and I'm like, dude, I don't really want to talk to you. I don't want to do anything. And then I was like, okay, cool. So And then I literally remember the next semester I did okay. And then I was like, cool, well, I guess I'll do it again. And then I did again. I did good. And then I got to the counselor that year. And I was like, hey, like, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm out. Like, I want to be done with this place.
Mhm.
And she's like, well, I don't think that's going to be possible unless you do this and that. And I was like, I'm going to graduate and I'm going to get out and then I'm going to go back to Lincoln. Watch me. And then she's like, okay, do whatever you want then, I guess. And so I literally like, I graduated from Northeast and then they were like, you can go pick up your diploma. And I was like, nah, I don't want that stuff. And then I went to UNL again, right? And I was like, okay, God, you gave me a second time to come to UNL. Let me not waste it. And so that year, that semester, I was like, okay, so maybe I should go into health because that's what I wanted to do. When I was in high school, I job shadowed this cardiologist and he was like, oh, like, yeah, dude, you have a really good potential to be in this position where I'm at. He's like, I went to school for like 12, 15 years. And I was like, okay, maybe that's for me then. So I was like, I was in the science classes and I was doing like this OChem class and like calculus 2. And I was like, yeah, this is not for me. I was like, this is so boring. And then I was like, okay, let's switch over to business then. I switched over to business that next semester. And I'm like doing all these business classes and I'm like, bro, this is so boring. Like how, like, what are you going to do with the business degree? Like, you just can't go out there and make your own business right away. Like it takes time. And I was like, okay, cool. So what am I going to do next? So literally going into that semester, I started dating my wife and she was like, well, if you really have a passion for like picking up a camera and doing stuff like that, why don't you just do it? And I was like, okay. So then I went to there was a journalism college at UNL. Yeah. And I was like, well, I don't want to do marketing because that's more business side. Sure. Like that stuff bores me. Like I don't want to do that. Yeah. So I went into advertising and public relations, the creative side of it. And then I get there and it's like going into the summer before my senior year essentially. And the counselor looks at me and she goes, yeah, you can definitely transfer, but you're looking at 2 to 3 years. And I was like, 2 to 3 years? I'm not doing that, lady. Like, I'm going to graduate this next year. Like, I'm going to be done, you know? Yeah. And she's like, well, you have to take 20 credits in the summer, 20 some in the fall, and then 20 some in the spring. Dang. And I was like, oh, okay. And then she's like, oh, on top of that, you have to join a team. Like, it was like a public relations or advertising team. Yeah. You have to be a part of one. And then you have to do the senior project. And I was like, okay. And then like, I literally did it all. And I look at it, that 1 year that I spent in that advertising program, like it was the best year of my life. Like I got to learn so much stuff. And like, I had this one class where this professor he gave us all cannons, like Canon cameras to just go out and create stories essentially. So it was like journalism stuff where he would literally go out in the street and you just take pictures of whatever the assignment was. Like this week was, hey, let's look at dimensions. So let's take pictures of people doing different things or something like that. And I remember that class and I was like, whoa, this is like really weird and really hard all at the same time and really intimidating because I was like, I'm going to go talk to a stranger and be like, hey, what's your story, dude? Like, well, tell me more about your life. Yeah. And then, like, eventually at the end of it, like, it was the best class I ever had because he would criticize, or not criticize, but give construction. Critique. Yeah. And every single photo, every single video. And we were supposed to do a multimedia project, which was taking pictures and following this video of a person. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, I want to do something dope. So I like looked up like cool people in Lincoln or like random facts and whatnot. I found this lady. She was a senator for Lincoln and she was 22 years old. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. And then she was on a game show, like I don't know what game show she was on, but she won money for being on the game show. And I was like, okay, this lady's pretty cool. So I like hit her up, went to the Capitol building, her office is in there. And then we connected, whatever. And then I was like, cool, I'm going to follow the story and it's going to be all good. Well, a week before the project was due, she texted me and she goes, hey, I'm no longer going to be able to do this. I am now running for et cetera. So I can't do this anymore with you. Like I can't have my name out there on stuff that And I was like, lady, I'm not going to show this to anybody. Like, what, like only my class. Like, what are you talking about? And so I literally had 3 days to come up with this project. And this was the only, a brand new one that we were supposed to do all semester long. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And I remember my cousin, he used to have this friend that would do MMA. And I was like, oh, I'll just follow his life. So literally for 3 days, I followed his life. And he did like jiu-jitsu classes, kickboxing classes, and all of that. And I was able to like create this story that was even better than the one I had before. And the professor loved it. And he was like, wow, man, you have a lot of potential in this. Like, you could really do this. And then like ultimately, like fast forward, I was able to graduate and like I got a degree. And then I only have 20,000 in student loans, and it was obviously all my fault. It's actually more of it comes from the community college than from UNL itself, which is so weird. But I was able to graduate, but like looking back at it, do I regret it? Not at all. Like I learned and I did stuff. Like I went to New York and I was able to tour the advertising agencies of the world essentially. Like I was at the NBA offices in New York. And I was like, dude, like I would have never been able to do any of this stuff if it wasn't for college. Like my parents don't know any better than anything that they've ever done. Like even coming out of all the college and everything, my parents have no idea what I did in college, like at all. Like they don't know what I went to school for. They don't know what I did. They don't know what I do even now. They're just like, oh yeah. You just carry a camera, take pictures, do this and that. And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Close enough.
Sure. And it's crazy because I wouldn't change it any other way. Like college was definitely it was more so building a foundation for even mine and Beverly's life. Yeah. We could show our kids that, hey, we went through college so that you don't have to if you don't want to, and we'll help you figure out what's next for your life. Sure. So I think college for me was like a firm foundation for mine and Beverly's life. But I think like even as we get into the question of like creators and like what it takes to go and make a film or make anything you want to make, like, do you think you need to go to school to be a filmmaker? Like, what's your take on it? Like,
Yeah, I don't think you do, personally. And that was actually intimidated by that question when I was learning our industry specifically, is I had interest in it on the job I was working, more on the content side, but I always just thought, oh, I didn't go to school for it. I don't know anything about those cameras. Like I want to do it. I want to go on those shoots. I want to interact with clients. Like that's really neat, but I don't know how. And I just thought there's no way I could learn on the job. That's going to take like, because people do go to school for it, how am I supposed to just like pick it up as we go? And so I was like really intimidated by that question. And now just having seen my pathway through it, that's why my answer is no. You actually don't have to go to proper school for it, but there are benefits to going, and there's some benefits to just teaching yourself. But I would say you don't have to.
Yeah, and first things first, for those of you that are like, yeah, but what if you're a doctor? Like, if you're going into a specialized profession that is a high education level, medical or scientific field, if it's something that is scientific, you probably, you literally have to go to school, because there's,
it's illegal if you don't.
Yes, if you're working on people's hearts and opening them up and saving people's lives and improving people's lives, like there is obviously a level of education and certification that you should need to hold to be able to have that type of job. But we're really talking just creativity, or I would even say, this could expand to a extremely wide variety of industries. I think there are industries that even 5 years ago, you probably would need to go to college for, like finance or, accounting or things like that, which again, with accounting, you need to you have to pass the exam, get your license. Like you have to be licensed and certified, but there's so many resources out there online at the tip of your fingertips that really reduce the reasons why you need to go to college. And I think the biggest thing that always bothered me with college is that in a lot of fields, I think filmmaking is one of them, and it's not all film schools, but for the film schools that we have here locally, chances are the person that's teaching you in the room isn't a successful Hollywood director.
Sure.
Because if they were, they would not be in a room in small town Iowa teaching you about filmmaking.
That is true.
It's someone who has, again,
But
even
they've
going
been on
back to
set before.
probably,
Or like something
and
like,
yes, I would hope so. You know,
yeah, they definitely would. Really
and they probably have
highlight.
experience with local projects and whatnot. And so I think you're limiting the experience and you're almost limiting yourself to like their highest level of achievement in a way.
Yeah.
And so I think if you're going to go to film school, like it almost needs to be a good one that's expensive because the teachers at the good film schools, like actually have a proven track record of being in the industry and producing successful things.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's true with a lot of different areas from business to whatever. But I heard a long time ago, like those who can't do teach. And it's kind of savage for people who are teaching. And I don't think it's a blanket statement that applies to all teachers. There are retired professional photographers and filmmakers out there that just genuinely want to teach.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the majority of them, at least in our market and the options that were available to us, are people that either their career didn't go the way that they wanted. And so then they decide, oh, well, I can teach and get a job at the local college and teach film. And so, yeah, I think just looking into your teachers, which is something, again, they never taught me to do in careers class. They never taught us to audit our teachers that, you know, the people that are instructing us in college classes. But it's you're paying thousands of dollars for them to sit in a room and teach you and 150 other kids. Like, I wish I would have had a little bit more desire to research the professors that I was picking or the professors that were at our school. And that's just another thing. Like, they don't teach you. It's just you go to college and it's just good inherently.
And you get what you get.
It's just not the case. But there are a lot of pros, like Ray said, having access to things that you wouldn't otherwise have access to, I think is a big one. Having access to cameras and equipment that you don't have to buy that the school owns. And I've heard that can vary pretty wildly. But I think most not great film schools typically have not great equipment. You're not going to be you know, playing around with an Arri Alexa or a Red camera, most likely.
Right.
Networking opportunities is another big one.
Yeah, you meet a lot of people.
That's
extracurricular, like student groups. Like I know specifically at UNL, they have Husker Vision, which is all student run. So for like all the sporting events and some social pages and stuff, like they have a whole department of professionals that work in that. But Husker Vision is the student pathway through that. And so you get tons of experience with.
Is that required?
Live. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if it's required or not. I just know I have a ton of friends who do it.
I think that's another big part of going to college. My story is I went to college because I felt obligated to because the way that I was raised and pressure from my parents.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't go to college to take advantage of what was being offered to me.
Yeah.
And so I think if you are going to go to film school, like you need to milk that bad boy for every single penny that you're spending.
100%.
You need to take advantage of those relationships and connections and networking groups and the opportunities to go to New York City and visit the NBA headquarters or whatever. You can't just like go to school. Going to school automatically does not make you a good filmmaker.
Right.
And it ties back to, again, our last topic of consuming versus creating. If you're just there to consume and try to learn, but you don't actually go out and take action and practice and implement what you're learning, you're not going to get anything out of it.
Yeah, it makes me think that it kind of like develops that person that you can talk about like film with and like camera gear, but then they have like no work or you like, have you actually ever made anything? But you have a lot of opinions and thoughts on like movies and like in depth, like what was shot where and how and what gear is like the best. But like then you look at their reel and you're like, or their website or anything on their social and you're like,
they don't have one.
If they have
or they don't even have one. And it's like, bro, you don't have anything to back up what you're saying.
Right.
I just would rather have a conversation with someone that I don't know
that
is actually putting stuff out.
Yeah.
Like I don't know everything. I'm first to admit, like I don't care really like what lenses you have. I don't care that you have a red camera built out. I don't care that you're a director in LA. Like I just don't. Like but if you make cool stuff, let's talk about it. I want to talk about the creative process behind it. And I don't know. There's like this gross thing in the film world, the film industry that I just like am opposite of. And I just probably will never be able to adapt. And maybe that will put a lid on my career as a, aspiring director. Maybe I'll never get to work on the set that they worked on or work on currently, but I don't really care that much.
I don't think so, because I think the mindset at the upper echelon of the film industry is very different than the mindset of your average film school graduate.
Yeah, I guess I just have like a bad taste in my mouth for so far in the 5 years we've been doing this. I haven't been like super inspired by the film industry. By a lot of reasons.
Well, and I think that's another con. Maybe it could be a pro or a con of going to college is the level of indoctrination. And I think it can be beneficial because there's a lot of set etiquette and set practices and things that I think we could benefit from film school of learning. But at the same time, I feel like there's this film creativity, design, camera technology, all of that changes so fast. And there's college in general is just extremely slow to catch up. And so you're learning not only like the teacher's mindset that he's kind of putting on you, but you're also learning systems and I think belief systems that aren't applicable to the world that we live in today. I'm a very firm believer that you don't have to abide by all of the industry standard practices to be able to make money and build wealth as a creative, because we haven't done that. As of this, like we're 5 years into our company, and we now just last week bought a camera that has internal ND filters, and we can shoot at the proper shutter speed. We've always just used shutter speed to compensate, which for those of you who are photographers or videographers, you know what I'm talking about. You don't want to do that. People who are in the film industry and went to film school like would probably bite their thumb at you or fart in your general direction if they heard you talking about that.
Mustache
gosh, what's that reference from?
What?
It's freaking Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, nice.
Little Monty Python and the Holy Grail reference. But yeah, there's been a lot of things that we've done that like the homies that we've tried to make in the industry have shunned. But at the end of the day, like we've made more money every single year. We've had extremely happy clients across the board.
We have employees.
We've served our clients well. We've built an awesome team of people. And so try to avoid getting into that mindset of like, this is the only way to do something. I think that's the biggest thing that people come out of college with a level of indoctrination of this is the right way to do things, and everything outside of that is just flat out wrong. And I don't buy into that mindset, especially not in creativity where things are as subjective as it gets.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I think even another con that you could have is like you graduate high school, you're only 18, maybe 17 at that point, or 19. Your brain hasn't like fully developed of like what you want to do in your life. So then the next step, what they do is they throw you into college, and it's like, oh, I'm supposed to pick from
You're supposed to know
things.
when
Like,
you're 17
I don't know what
you
I'm
want to
doing.
do with your life.
And it's just like, it's crazy because you go through this whole process, and a lot of people graduate from college and they don't even use a degree because of the fact that they went to college and they didn't know what they wanted to do. And it was just to get a piece of paper. And it was just like, oh, what do I do now with my life? And like, I think I read it somewhere where it's like, when you hit 25, it's when you actually start to fully develop your brain. And when you know what you want to do in your life and what you're meant to do in your life. And I think it's like, I think that's the biggest con with college, which like you're left with all this money that you have to pay back, and you're just stuck in whatever situation you're in, and you hate your life.
I just feel like your passions either become something that you can pursue as a career. But I feel like when you're that young, your passions are just stupid. Like your family, like, why would you can't make money with a camera. Like, but that's just the difference between, I think, someone that has great people around them, or just
Yeah.
people that are stuck in that
Yeah. Or they just don't know.
mindset.
They
Mhm.
don't
Or
know.
yeah, they just don't know because that's all they know, and
Yeah.
they pass it down
Right.
generationally. And that's why when I looked at that totem pole and I was like, dang, I gotta live there forever. I'm gonna be on like the lower part of the
Yeah.
income and stuff. I was like, that sucks. But as I've gotten older, I'm like,
Right.
no, I'm gonna change that forever for my
Yeah.
family
Yeah.
for forever.
Yeah.
My kids are never gonna see that totem pole and be
There
like,
we go.
I'm at the lowest point in my life where I have to
Yeah.
shop at this thrift store because we can't afford. We shop at the thrift store because it's fun, not because we have to.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dude, I even think about like people that are creating stuff now. Like all you need is your phone. Like
Yeah.
you don't
Yep.
need a camera. You
Oh,
don't need an
man.
expensive camera. You don't need to go to college. You can literally go on YouTube. You can even go to TikTok now. Like
Yeah.
TikTok shows you everything you need to
Right.
know about
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
life insurance, all the way to
Yeah.
how to
Putting
change a
siding
baby,
on a
like,
wall,
Yeah, like
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
you can think of, and it's crazy because like you look at them now and like if you would have looked at it like 5, 6, 7 years ago when Vine was around,
Mhm.
people were like, "Oh, that thing, that's never gonna take off." And now it's like all those ex-Viners are now like making millions of dollars
Right.
doing the exact same thing that they were doing before,
Yeah.
and they weren't taught about any
Yeah.
of this. Like,
What's great about YouTube and TikTok and learning on those is like it's an as needed education.
yeah,
It's like when I feel like I'm in need or when I feel like I have
Mhm.
something, a talent that I need to learn, I can just go here
Yep.
and get it from multiple sources who know how to do it, maybe
Yeah.
different ways or not. And then I can take that information, I can apply it to my life right now, exactly how I want to.
Yeah.
And I haven't wasted 8
Right.
hours of my day sitting in other classes that I think I don't need.
You know what
Yeah.
else I realized?
What's that?
Remember when we would like spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on the textbooks?
Oh, yeah.
No, I
Like-
never remember that.
Oh,
We could have actually
hundreds.
just read the textbooks on our own instead of paying a teacher to tell
Literally.
us to read the textbooks.
Weird.
And we could have taught ourselves the entire class
Right.
by just
It's
reading
a
the
slower
dude,
textbook.
I never
version.
understood why those textbooks were so
They are
expensive.
so
So you buy the
expensive.
textbook
It's insane.
and then you pay a teacher to read the textbook to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like I'm
Exactly.
It just makes a ton of
It's
sense. You know,
hard.
it's
Math.
logic
It's
for
math,
me.
for
Like,
sure, for me.
hard.
and now I'm like, if I want to ever learn something again and it's something I can't find on YouTube, like I'll just buy the textbook and read it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna. I've been teaching myself by just observing and consuming content for long enough. I
Yep.
feel like if I were to go back to high school, I could do it online and just literally read the
Yeah.
textbooks and do
Yeah.
my own assignments.
Yeah.
And well, all the assignments, most of the
Right.
part, come from the book anyways. But
yeah.
Right. Anyways.
I think we all have a deep rooted problem with our education
Yeah.
system. Is what I'm
welcome
getting at.
to the therapy session.
Yeah.
I think we've all
Welcome
been
to
waiting to get that out for a while.
Yeah.
Legendary directors who didn't go to film school, go.
visit us and tell us.
All right. So there's some pretty iconic people. Hopefully this encourages you that you don't likely need to go to film school to be a great filmmaker. I would say the same goes with design, with art, photography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff you can learn on YouTube, but these guys probably didn't learn it from YouTube. They probably learned it from other resources. It'll actually tell you because there's like books and stuff you can also read. If you didn't know. So yeah, a couple of film directors. James Cameron
Sheesh. You
Did
started
not-
off with James Cameron.
did not go to film school.
Oh
He
my
actually
goodness.
started at a community college studying physics and then transitioned to
Wow.
English
Oh.
and then dropped out. He didn't go to film school, but he did spend a lot of time reading about it at the University of South Carolina library. And then it says after seeing Star Wars, he knew he wanted to wanted to pursue a film career. And obviously James Cameron has done some of the most incredible movies from The Terminator to Avatar.
Would be
And yeah, Peter Jackson, another one, great director of Lord of the Rings
Oh, nice.
trilogy.
Peter did.
Let's see, what does it say about Peter Jackson? Wasn't interested in attending school, so he just taught himself. Dropped out of school at 16, worked to earn enough money so he could purchase his own film equipment. I think that's a great nugget right there. Get the job that you can get,
Yeah.
save up money, to buy the camera that you need.
Ooh,
and what
yeah,
you need
that's
to
a
move
good
forward.
That's a good little nugget. If you
Yeah.
can get a job in your industry that you're wanting to pursue, even if it's like something like a news station, like just being around anything and anyone, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say like fully consume. Yeah, that's a big rabbit trail, but get a job maybe in the industry that you're working towards.
Yeah.
So you can learn on the job.
Right.
We have a buddy that did that. Evan Rogers, like worked in an industry, but because of that, he made connections, learned about cameras, and
Yeah.
learned how to
Yeah.
storytell. And now he's a freelance colorist and editor and director, and he's killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's
Right.
available. If
Yeah.
it's not,
And
get any job you can get that pays as much as you can. Take
Or figure it out.
yeah.
Figure
Mhm.
out where you can get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
Yep.
Start DM people, cold DMs.
yeah, in the podcast or YouTube video I just shared with you guys yesterday about the making of Top Gun Maverick
Mm.
and stuff, the lead DP who's worked with that director now on like 5 major films started as just like a gaffer on set and
Sick.
just kept getting involved.
The
Boom.
white haired guy.
Yeah.
Sick.
I can't
Yeah, he
remember
was
his
cool.
name now.
Claudio.
Claudio.
Yep.
Yeah, Claudio.
Yep.
Yep.
Sick.
We got Tim Burton
Okay.
from Batman, Beetlejuice, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Mm.
So he just started creating stuff, and then that led to an apprenticeship at Walt Disney Productions. So just
Wow.
putting out stuff and creating,
Yeah.
looking for opportunities. We got
Wow.
Quentin Tarantino, one of the
Dang.
goats,
Who's that?
dropped out of middle school,
What?
took some acting classes,
Oh.
Oh, man.
worked
Fuck.
at a video archives place where he taught himself and educated himself. And he says, oh, this is a great quote. Trying to make a feature film yourself with no money is the best film school that you can do.
Oh, and we can just end the
my
podcast. Like, I just got
goodness.
That's real
goosebumps.
good right there.
Sheesh.
So yeah, I think all these
Wow.
people can attest. Let's see if there's any other. Steven Spielberg,
Mm.
highest grossing director of all time,
I feel like these are just all the major directors.
was
Yeah.
rejected by UCLA and USC because of his grades, and
Oh,
he
I've-
did not let that keep him from pursuing his dream.
Good job, Steve.
Wow.
Yeah.
And all of these people, it looks like either got denied or couldn't afford it or dropped out way before college, and then they just decided to create something, and then that led them to landing an
Ooh, I love
internship
it.
or whatever that
Sick.
may be. Stanley Kubrick, just another one. Tons more. Alfred Hitchcock. So
Boom.
yeah, don't let the lack of formal education, especially in creative field, because we don't get our ideas from a teacher. They
Right.
are part of our being, and a teacher can, I think, inspire you. Certain teachers, there are great film teachers out there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Teachers that will inspire you and encourage you and pull the best out of you. But I don't think it's necessary in today's day and age with the
Right.
resources we have
That's
at our
right.
fingertips.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you still, like, by all means, you don't need college, but you still need some form of education.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Because you can't get to the film director level if you haven't learned.
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And, like, even, like, experience, right?
Yep.
Like, experience goes way further today than education. Like,
Yeah.
the more you have experience in that industry or whatever industry you want to be a part of goes way further than somebody else having more college education.
Yep.
Because the more you're in it, the more you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't want it to seem like we're bashing education. Education is good as a whole. Like
Right.
educating yourself. We're just talking about college, formal university education.
Right.
Honestly, I probably read more and consume more educational material now than I did in college because I'm actually
Yeah.
learning about things I'm passionate about.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
I
facts.
downloaded the Sony FX6 user manual to my phone and was reading it. Like, I like to educate, and
Nerd.
Nerd.
yeah,
Nerd
all right.
alert.
Okay, true. But yeah, continuing education is huge, and the best form of education is experience, like
Yeah.
Ray said.
That's great.
So go get some experience.
Go get
Yeah.
the XP.
Go try some stuff. Go throw some crap up against the wall
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
see what sticks.
We are very passionate people, but we get caught up in the day to day. And obviously, we have work and bills to pay and all of those things. But we are sick and tired of being like, yeah, we should do something fun or we should do something passionate. And so it's kind of cool because in the last episode, we talked about like sitting and getting ideas and all this stuff. And me and Austin just randomly at the most random times at night, morning, 5 a.m., 12 a.m., it just doesn't matter. We'll like send each other ideas like, hey man, we should do this and this and this and this. And then we'll put it in this like shared note that we have. But he hit me up yesterday, 2 days ago, 3 days?
Couple days ago.
3 days ago, maybe?
Weeks ago by the time this episode airs.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago.
A long time ago. We were chatting about doing this like video or just doing something like a passion project. And he was like, oh, we should do like one of you thrifting and we'll, tell the story of why you like it. And I was like, that's stupid. And then I have to be in it and whatever. But then I'm like, honestly, like he was like pretty stoked on it and inspired by it. And I was like, honestly, let's do it. I don't care what it means. So we're on the Monday that we're in a few days from whenever and to whenever we are shooting a film. I don't know what it's going to all look like, but you said you had some ideas. We're going to shoot it on the FX6. We're going to we got a Bloom like cool a filter.
It's like a mist. A diffusion filter for the lens. So that blooms out the highlights and gives it a nice creamy, vintagey, bloomy kind of vibe.
That gear
that's something I've been learning about and just random things. Now that we have like a true cinema camera, I would like really want to go into like how can we achieve different looks using different lenses, using lens modifiers. We've never thrown a filter on the front of the lens really. And so, just learning about different types of effects that you can get in camera to stylize your look. But
facts. So we're just going to go and do it. We set aside some time. We're going to, in a few days, we're going to be shooting. And I don't know what it's going to really come to, but we all get to have fun and go shoot something and tell a story. And I would just encourage you to do the same. Like, grab whatever even if it's your phone, like you can buy lens modifiers for your phone, like on Amazon for like $12.
Or you can make them.
You could
literally take some chapstick and just like chapstick over your lens and get a very similar effect.
You don't chapstick the whole thing, just the outside.
You chapstick the whole thing.
But like around the center.
Kinda.
Yeah, but you want to see like through. But anyway, you can do a lot of stuff for literally nothing. This iPhone, the cinematic mode in this camera or this phone,
it's nuts,
is pretty sick. You can do a lot. So anyway, just freaking do it, dude. Stop looking at me like that.
I think this is a time that we're all just wanting to take action on whatever that looks like. And I would encourage you to do the same. Whatever you have available, whatever story you have to tell right now, whatever equipment you have, whatever education level you have, like just go create something. Experience is the best form of education. So go make something. Let this be a little nudge in the right direction of like, just go out and tell something, tell some story, capture something, create something.
All right. So as we wrap up this episode, our encouragement would really be don't box yourself into any societal or cultural norms as far as your path to do what you want to do. As far as your creativity go, as far as your education goes, don't box yourself in and think that there's only one way to do this. We all have different experiences with education and college and how we got into this industry. And so, just let it be an encouragement to keep pressing on, go out and experience things, do things, test it, try it, and create. And ultimately, I think that's how you put yourself into a position in order to be successful.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's sick. Fire. Mic drop.
All right, guys, that's all we have for you on today's episode. Before you click off, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Leave a like on this video if you're on YouTube. It really helps us grow the channel. We built this whole new channel just for podcast content because our old one was super confused. We had all kinds of stuff on there. So this is just podcast content, and it helps a ton. When you drop a like button, hit the bell to be notified next time we drop a video on a Monday, every first and third Monday of the month. If you have any questions or you have podcast topic ideas, things that you want to see covered in this podcast, reach out to us on Instagram at The Glory Boys Pod. Shoot us a DM. If you want to collab, if you want to be a guest, hit us up in the DMs as we are actively looking for new perspectives and new guests to add to this show. But we love you guys so much. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.